Opportunity to raise the bar of excellence as a city and a county and to have significant impact on this election. You know, the great explorers of the past understood that just because a destination is not in sight doesn't mean it does not exist. So we should still go for the final that we want. This is our chance to think beyond ourselves to our city and our county. And this is our chance to think beyond to our next set of leaders for our future. And this is our chance to effect change that will create a new era in La Quinta that will be built on the rigor and the vigor of our heritage. Certainly not what we have today. The challenge for all of us is to think differently, to define our future, to think strategically, to answer the questions again before us so we can expand our impact. We all have an opportunity and a responsibility that each of us has through action and results to show that our vision is clear, our values are powerful, and our mission is compelling. But ladies and gentlemen, we cannot achieve greatness alone. It is also dependent on choosing the right leaders, like the ones with us tonight, who will give of their time toward improving life for all. We need leaders like Bonnie Garcia and Brian Nestande, who brings a new spirit of responsibility, and that what makes good counties into great counties and good cities into great cities. So together we can do the extraordinary. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present our endorsement of our Distinguished Award for Excellence to both Bonnie Garcia and to Brian Nestande at this time. So if you will stand up and take a picture.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. One more. Fantastic.
The lake
So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce Brian Nestande.
Before you leave, can we trade accolades here from the State Assembly? We want to give you a certificate of recognition and appreciation for what you're doing here and getting people actively engaged in civic duties. And for that, we're all thankful. So appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Robert.
Yay.
And now I'd like to turn the evening over to Brian Nestande.
Thank you. Hopefully it's not the whole evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Robert. And in the spirit of giving him that certificate, we're out talking, Mark and John and I, and is Larry, you're running for city council right here? We're saying, they said, do you know how many people are running for city council? They said 9 people for 2 positions. I said, no. But you know what? I love it. I love the fact that there's that level of civic engagement. That means people are interested. That means people want to think, want to argue, want to debate. And that's good. That's great. And then regardless of the side, to be honest, you need to have discussions like this, because people that stay home, don't vote, do not get involved, that is not healthy for our republic or democracy. We need citizens involved on all sides. So thank you for encouraging that civic engagement. Very much appreciate it, both of you guys, for giving your time to do that. Thank you. And I guess this is good. Oh, there you go. See how far I can rip the whole thing out. I'm going to talk just a little bit about jobs, about what is going on in California, and what our economy looks like. And I want to say, as you know, I should say, I'm Brian Nestande, State Assemblyman, running for Congress in the area. And I've achieved a level of certain distinction because I now have my own tracker from Congressman Ruiz's office. So he is here to take me and cover and so we're happy to have this conference. I only wish Congressman Ruiz would join us so we could have a healthy debate and discussion. That'd be much more productive. I'll go ahead and do it myself. Anyways, I want to, and the reason why I talk about Congressman Ruiz is because he decided about a week ago to write an editorial in the paper saying, basically blaming me for Tesla Motors not choosing to locate their battery plant in California, they chose Nevada. And so he went on a tirade that made no sense, I mean, to be honest. And so I wrote an editorial back that was in the Sunday paper, and I don't know if any of you caught it, but if you don't mind, I'd kind of like to reiterate my response to his accusation. And I think the opening sentence of my opinion was, when I read that Congressman Ruiz is blaming me for the battery factory being located in Nevada instead of California, I wasn't sure if he was joking or if he was that naive, because you have to walk through and see why that happened. So if you don't mind, I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about that and why a battery factory, a large production, a large manufacturing facility, whatever it might be, chooses another state over California. So let me just bear with me for about 5 minutes if that's okay. I just want to kind of walk through a little bit of history, I think, of how we got here. So I like to say I grew up in Orange County. There's another Orange County, another Hoag Hospital person here somewhere that was born. There you are, that's right. Born in Orange County, I remember as a kid growing up, some days we couldn't go out to recess because they said there would be a stage 4 or 5, whatever it might be, smuggler. And it felt like you had a hole in your chest, and it couldn't be, so they said kids can't play outside today. And that was because of the smog. And there was a layer of smog in the LA basin that was harmful. It was. And so the environmental community came forward, however they did, and they said, we have to change this. We have to do something to clean up this air in the LA basin. And so they had controls on factories and on cars and so forth to make it cleaner air, and they were right. They were right. But what's happened now over the course of 30 years or so is these regulations, they kept going, adding on, adding on, and adding on. And the problem is today, they've stifled growth in California without really helping the environment. They're down to like, I don't know what actually, a lot of these laws do not help the environment at all, but it's just these masses of regulations that now companies say, you know what, this is too much. I'm going to go to another state. Why subject myself to this time constraint of going through the processing, the cost, the high taxes? We'll go to another state where they have zero income tax, like Nevada. That's where they locate the plant, zero income tax. You get a 13% raise by moving to Nevada. That's pretty good. So these environmental regulations have become an impediment to development and growth in California. And so let me give an example of how everybody admits that, more or less, in the state legislature. When I first got to the state legislature in 2009, there was a proposal to build a football stadium in LA. LA hasn't had NFL football for a long time, so somebody got together and said, hey, we're going to build a football stadium in Los Angeles. Bring pro football back to LA. Great. So they got their investors together and so forth, the lawyers and everything. They started looking at the plan. And then they realized, you know, this is going to be hard to build because we kind of studied what happens in California and the regulations, and you have this law called the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, and you get sued on just about every project. Anything you want to build, you will be sued. That's almost a guarantee. And they said they take you to court, to court, to court, to court. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it may be for good reason. But sometimes it's not. There's very little discretion in how they allow these lawsuits to continue. And so what they said is, you know what, if we want to build this stadium, we need exemption from that law. We need to be exempt from CEQA. So you know what? They went to the state legislature and they got their local representative to write a law to exempt them from CEQA. And so we needed an exemption, and the bill passed. And we voted for it because we said, you know what, CEQA is a problem. I talked about that in my campaign when I first ran. I said, we have to fix, not get rid of it, just fix it. Because after 20, 30 years, layers of complexities grow. So let's pare it back down to make it a useful law. So Democrats and Republicans agreed on that. Yeah, we have to fix CEQA. Let's pass this bill, and then we'll fix it. So fast forward a year, nothing really happened. There was no real working group, nothing really happened. And so another group of investors got together and said, we would like to build a stadium and bring an NFL team to Los Angeles. And we're going to build this one right downtown, better location. We think we're going to do this. Don't worry about that other one. This one's going to be much better. They got their investors together, talked to the mayor there, I'm sure, and all the city council people, said this is going to be great for LA, right next to the Lakers Staples Center there. And they said, but we can't build this without an exemption to your law, your CEQA law. We would like the same one that the other group got. So they came to the legislature and said, we would like to be written and exempted from that law. So what happened is they brought the bill forward and said, okay, we can do that. At that point I said, stop. I said, no, we had a year to work on this legislation and we did nothing. And now we're going to pass another exemption? That's not fair. What about all the other projects that are being held up? What about all the other manufacturing plants that may want to be built here that can't go to another state? We need to fix this law. I said, I'm not voting for that. That was the deal. And so they did say, you're right, Brian, we're going to do that. Let's pass this one. We'll start working on it. So, you know what? They passed the law. But then we did have an honest, good group of people, Democrats, Republicans, work to reform CEQA. So that bill comes forward takes different forms and so forth. But we get a bill together to reform CEQA finally. So what happens, and the Democrats, they get a lot of pushback from the environmental side and so on, say, you can't pass that law, you can't fix it, you can't change it, no. So some Democrats were willing to do so though. And they told me, hey, if you meet me halfway, we can get this done. I said, absolutely. So the bill that came forward to vote on was a bill that was actually closed a loophole on out-of-state businesses that were getting a better tax advantage than in-state businesses. Long story, I won't bore you with that. But they said, Brian, if you vote for this to close that loophole, this bill will be married up with the CEQA reform bill. We'll get it done. This will be great. And I said, well, that's probably going to be a problem. I don't know if the rest of my caucus is going to vote for that. They only needed one vote, though. They said, we just need one vote. And we'll meet you halfway. You vote for this. We'll vote to reform CEQA in the Senate. This will be a good deal. Everybody meets halfway. I said, I will do it. I will do it. So I voted for that bill. And I knew I was going to take a hit from my own caucus. I was the only Republican to vote for it. They said, don't do it. I said, no, this is the right thing to do. We have to reform CEQA. This is a good deal. They said, no, they kicked me. I was caucus chairman. I was chairman of the caucus. They said, not anymore, not after that vote. So I said, that's okay. I'm doing the right thing. We're going forward in the Senate. I said, great, this is it. We're going to get this done. And guess what happened? It didn't get done. The Democrats stepped back. They said, no, we can't really do that. We tried, but they said, no, we can't really do that. So the bill failed. And it didn't go right, it just died in the session. But I say that point to say we have to do something here to fix these laws. And I'm willing to step out and say, hey, I'll take a chance. I will push back against my own party. If you do the same, we meet halfway, we get something done. That's being productive. But it didn't happen. So, fast forward to the paper, the editorial that Congressman Ruiz wrote, Lyman to me. I said, it's your ideology that has stopped the reform of CEQA, fix of CEQA in the state. It's your ideology with President Obama and the rest of the Democrat leaders that have dominated this state for decades. It is that ideology that is stopping progress, that is kicking jobs out of California. Have you ever heard of cap and trade? So cap and trade, this is all a variation of the laws that we're doing here in California. So cap and trade says, we want to punish polluters. We want to do more, and we want to cap their emissions. I mean, you can only emit so much, and then if you emit more than that, you have to buy a credit from somebody else. Who's that somebody else? The companies that we pick, the winners in our economy here. We want to pick companies and say, you get the golden ticket, and these losers over here that we don't like, they have to buy the ticket from you then. It's the winners and the losers. And so they get the gold ticket and they go buy it. So one of those gold tickets was Tesla. Tesla was building an electric car in California, and the Democrats in the state said, great, that's what we want, clean energy, a car being built, you get the gold ticket. Now they have to come buy them from you. You make money just from doing that because these polluters have to come buy your ticket. So Tesla's going, oh, this is great, we get a subsidy for each car. It employed a few people that are making the automated factory. So it comes time they realize that, you know what, the main part of this car is a battery, and we can't control the production on the batteries. So we need to build a battery plant. That way we can more efficiently have a more efficient production line and get this car built cheaper, and we can sell more cars. Great idea. This battery factory is going to employ a few thousand people. It's a big deal. It's a $5 billion investment. We're going to employ thousands of people. So they all of a sudden said, okay, we're ready to build this, but guess what? We're not building it in California. You got these crazy laws, taxes, regulations. We can't build it in California. So they ended up building it in Nevada. And worse yet, they played California. They went to Texas, Louisiana, Nevada, said, what kind of deal will you give us, what kind of deal will you give us? They came to California, hey, it'd be kind of embarrassing if we leave California and go build this plant somewhere else. You better get some tax credits, some exemptions, all that. The administration scrambling to get these exemptions, here, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. It wasn't enough. They never planned to build it here. They knew they couldn't do that. They just used that to play us against the other states to get more. Nevada gave them what they wanted. They're building the plant there. And that's the story that happens many, many times. That's just one that's highlighted because it's a big deal, but that happens all the time. Let's not fool ourselves. Small businesses are moving to Texas, Arizona, Nevada. As I said, they instantly get a pay raise because they're not paying this huge punitive 39% tax rate. They move to other states. This is happening constantly. We're seeing a fleeing of these small businesses, large businesses, manufacturing jobs. Those middle-class jobs are leaving California. You know, our population, we have the highest poverty rate of all the states in the nation, the highest poverty rate of all states. Isn't that amazing? And up until last year, California, the middle class, people that were defined as the middle class, was always about 66, 68% of the people were defined as middle class. Last year, that became a minority, 49%. The middle class is leaving California. We're having a bifurcated economy. People are doing very well in Silicon Valley, San Francisco, Orange County, biotech down San Diego, doing very well. Making a lot of wealth. That's good. A lot of people are not. And a lot of it, those middle class jobs, I worked in machine shops going through college. Those were good paying jobs that people could have a family with, work there, earn a living. It was good. Those jobs are gone. And that is because of this ideology, this liberal ideology that Congressman Ruiz has, that his fellow Democrats have. And that's the reason why Tesla Motors chose Nevada over California. Anyways, I'm sorry to be such a downer, but I just had to address that because I couldn't believe he had the gall to say it was my fault. I've been working to try and reform these laws, these regulations, and then his group's been the one screwing this thing up for years, and he wants to blame me. I just thought it was odd, if nothing else. So I just wanted to clear that up in case anybody had any misperceptions. Anyways, Robert, I don't want to take all the time. Bonnie's here to speak as well. I'll be happy to answer any questions. If not, we can turn it over to Bonnie and let her talk about what she would like to do. It's up to you, Robert.
Well, does
I'll turn it
anyone
over to
have
you,
any
my
questions? Oh, okay. Well, I'd like to welcome Glenn Miller. Very nice.
Hey, Glenn.
Here. But do you have any questions for? This is your chance, up close and personal. Now you can get them. Anything that anyone would like to ask?
But thank you.
Okay. Oh, here's a question, Diane.
Well, I did want to say that if you do get to Congress, what you were saying about doing the right thing and not caring really about, your affiliation, I think that is the most important thing, that everybody can do to make your choices based on what is, what is the right.
I agree that
What is the right thing?
Exactly.
That's the most important thing.
And it's a decision that you have to make with, sure, we all belong to political parties, at least everyone in the Assembly is Republican or Democrat. You obviously have an ideology that you believe, that's why you join a party. But when it comes time to govern, I govern on what's in front of me right now. How can I move the ball forward? How can we make this a better state today? And if I can make a choice, say, we're going to move the ball forward today, I'm going to vote for that regardless of party affiliation. And that's what I did in the Assembly. That's what I want to do in Congress, because it's too late. It's too late to play strictly party politics, blame each other. There's a lot of that going on out there. Blame for this, blame for that. Folks, we have a $17 trillion debt. A $17 trillion debt. That's not going away. It's growing every day. Congress is spending more money. Congress is not spending your money. They're spending your kids' and grandkids' money. It's gone. Every kid today born owes $57,000. They are spending us into bankruptcy, and that's wrong. We have to stop this. We have to stop. So, thank you for that question. Long-winded answer, but thank you for the question. Yes, ma'am.
I had a question from last Saturday, the border security. Marietta did receive all the news, but do you know of other cities that did receive buses into their without the news covering it? I mean, did
In
they?
California or other states?
California.
I think that was the only one, if I remember correctly, because they were getting, that was a staging, and then they were going to disperse them through, from Marietta
Yeah.
to the Riverside County, and then I'm not sure to where.
Yeah.
But to my knowledge, that was the only one.
Okay.
Yes, Mike?
Brian, what's your opinion about what's happening with ISIS and the president's stand on that?
To me, it goes back to the president. You have a mess. It is an absolute mess right there. And partly, I believe that mess is because President Obama, you know, he got the Nobel Peace Prize right when he was elected. They gave him the Nobel Peace Prize when he was elected, saying, the great one is here now, he's elected, he's going to stop all wars, world peace is going to come forth and all that. No, what happens is you withdraw from the world stage, like the president wanted to do, and you leave a vacuum, and chaos fills that vacuum. And people that do not have the same interests that we do are filling that vacuum, and that's going to threaten America. And so it's a mess that President Obama helped create by his withdrawing. We are the world's superpower. You can't outsource that. You can't say, we're going to give it to you to give it to you. No, we are the world's superpower, and we have a responsibility. America does right. We're not perfect, but for the most part, we do right. And so by stepping back and saying, we're not involved anymore, this is what you got a mess. I don't know how it's going to sort itself out. You got so many varying alliances there. You don't know who's who from one day to the next of these different groups going on. It's a mess. I wish I had a better answer for you, but they're going to, you know, bomb them. First thing is stop ISIS. You know, they know how to find them. They're going around Humvees with the black flag and everything. Kill them, stop that. And then you have to separate them, and then hopefully it takes work. The United States, we're going to have to go back to work and sort it out. Steve, you know you were in the Marines. Any other Marines in here? My dad was in the Marine. Another one. All right. Very good. Oh, that's right. Are you going to speak tonight, or are you got?
No.
Oh, come on, say a few words after Bonnie.
A few words.
Anyways, yes.
I have a question for you, not to put you on the spot. I heard about this today. The GAO released a report that Obamacare does pay for abortions. Any thoughts on that?
I'm against taxpayer-funded abortions. I don't want my taxpayer dollars used for that. I understand people have different opinions. I don't think that should be a taxpayer. I don't agree. Thank you. And once again, Congressman Ruiz, if you're watching this tape or somebody, thank you for joining us today. We only wish you, I like to have open forums where anybody can ask any question. Congressman Ruiz has very structured things where he comes in, only asks certain questions, certain people come in. Well, that's not the way to do it. You open yourself up to the public, anybody ask any question. If you're a representative, if you're an elected official, and you can't do that, you shouldn't be in office. So, anyways, thank you all very much. All right.
I did receive your notice about the change on the debate.
Oh, yeah.
Can you update that or give us information on what,
That's
is
another
that
good
going to
story.
be on television, and will we see it on like Channel 3 or?
So, okay, you guys want this story? This is what happened. So there was a debate. We're going to have a debate October 3rd. And I said, you know, I want to debate Congressman Ruiz as often as he possibly could. And when he wanted, I'd debate every day. So people call, say, you want to debate? Yep. What dates you want, whatever structure. I don't care. Just tell me and I will show up. So I go, got to go to Ruiz and ask him. So Ruiz, KSQ does something, want to do debate. So finally he says, well, we can only do it on this day. I said, fine, whatever day is, I accept. So it's October 3rd, we accept. Next day we realized some people in our campaign said, wait, that's on Yom Kippur. Out of respect for the Jewish religion, people that are members or followers of the faith, probably shouldn't have it on that day. He said, okay, good point, let's move it. So we inquired with the KSQ Desert Sun, can we move this debate? And asked Congressman Ruiz's staff and so forth. And they all said, no, that's the day. Okay, so we sent a letter out to our supporters saying, apologize, but that is the day that they have set. They said they will have it live or have it taped on our website and go to it at any time. KSQ will replay it and so on and so forth. So that was what we thought was the end of it. So 2 weeks later, last night, Ruiz's office sent us a press release. Oh, we can't do it on October 3rd. Oh, really? Well, where were you 2 weeks ago when we said that?
And he said, oh, we can't do it on that day. Well, we said, yeah, that's what we said. That was your date. So then we've changed it now to October the 5th. I think it is October the 5th. So we will now have the debate on October 5th. KMIR and another group, the Rotary, is had asked Ruiz to have another debate. He declined. And so I think more debates, the better off we are. The more opinions you can hear from your leaders, the more discussion, I think the healthier it is. And so unfortunately, it looks like we'll only have one, but I'll take it. But hopefully, I wish we could have more. But thank you all once again. Appreciate it.
Thank you.